Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching. Beginning 1 p.m. every afternoon, you can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com. An announcement coming up pretty soon. We're going to be covering much more of Alabama, even though we're all over the world with Roku. But thank you again so much for watching. Oh, and also, if you have any suggestions for shows, this is the reason Dejoly is here. A lot of you have been talking about relationships, and a lot of you are new to the word narcissism. You know, you're living with a narcissist, or you know one, you work with one. That can be one as well. So Dejoly is with us right now. She's an author and a speaker, coach, lifetime coach. So let's talk about how folks can find, because you're going to want to get in contact with her after this show.
All right. I'm on Facebook, Dejoly Labrier on Facebook, and I also have a website, dejoly.com, and on that website all my services are there. I'm a life coach, I'm a writing coach. I do one-on-one coaching and group coaching, and I do writing workshops and also life coaching workshops. Different things that I do, and also I'm really excited about and I'll mention it now, but I want to talk to you about it later. The workshop kind of things that I'm doing and the coaching that I'm doing are moving toward a retreat in the fall. I'm having a retreat up on the mountain for a small group of women who are interested in getting closer bonds between them and sharing some of their writing, sharing some of the work they've been doing in their personal work, and just having a relaxing, beautiful long weekend. It's my birthday weekend. Oh, yeah. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely. You know, a number of you have been sending messages about some of the shows we've had where you're talking about narcissists. You know, and a lot of you are coming to the realization that you have one in your family, or maybe you work with one, but you have some key points you wanted to go ahead and talk about. And this is about, because, you know, sometimes, like, I was raised with a narcissist, and so I didn't know. I thought that was a way of life. I didn't know until I got around other people and started noticing there's a difference in the way you're being treated, the way you're, you know, the way you even kind of control how you think and what you do.
That's right. Most of the time, narcissists do want to control how you think and how you look and how you feel, and they want to tell you how you are. And in relationships with a narcissist, you don't have your own thoughts. You start thinking, am I doing it right for that person? Will they get after me? Will they put me down? Whatever, if I don't do it this way. And if you have that kind of relationship, you have to really examine who you are and who you want to be. And if you're not finding joy there are lots of decisions that you have to make. And it's kind of like we were talking earlier about the possibility that domestic violence cases, it's the same thing. You want to leave a narcissist, but you don't know how. So you go out, you come back. You go out and you come back. Sometimes domestic violence takes 10 or more times for a woman to finally get so tired of being abused that she stays gone. You know, it isn't easy to get out of a relationship with a narcissist. So, but it's like they need your energy. They need to have that source that gives them validation. They don't have that within themselves. Now, we that aren't narcissists can validate that we are who we are, that we have our own self, and then when you're in that environment, it starts disappearing, because then you start, in the sense, most of the time, narcissists will find a codependent person to be their energy source. And codependency means that you're going to do what I tell you to do, because you want my approval. And I'll only approve of you if you do it this
Mm-hmm.
way. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you want that because
Mm-hmm.
you're codependent. You want love. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
wants love. It's
Sure.
not just a codependent person, but everybody wants love. And so if you have that, and the thing what I'm trying to say is narcissists really have to have somebody who is willing to do that
Mm-hmm.
to the extreme that they give up themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that if they are not being true to themselves, not being strong, and I've brought some words into this: resilient, patience, tenacity, and courage. If they are not being true to themselves, then they're going to fall into that
Mm-hmm.
relationship, and then they'll find themselves later saying, well, wait a minute, I didn't want to do that, but I did it anyway. Why did I do
Mm-hmm.
that? And when you start questioning that, that's when you can find a source.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody or something will help you get out of that relationship.
Let me ask you the $1 million question.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so if you are, and several of you have asked this question. So, okay, so let's say that person A is in a relationship with a narcissist. Pretty early in the game, they know something is not right because I'm dealing with a narcissist, not Phil, of course, but someone else in my family, a couple of people in the family, and they seem to be prone to several things that scares me just a little bit. I have to tell you this: the sooner you end the relationship, is it actually better for your well-being?
It absolutely is.
Because it seems to me the longer you let them go, because I think they could be murderers as well.
Well, yeah, they could. They could.
Maybe I'm watching too many whodunits.
You're watching too many scary movies. No, but anybody can become a murderer
Yeah.
depending on, what's going on with their lives. But
Mm-hmm.
a narcissist can murder you slowly. Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily physically violently do something to you, but they can keep you from being who you are to such an
Your
extent
inner
that
being.
your inner being dies and you
Mm-hmm.
become a walking dead person.
Uh-huh.
You become a person who will do anything for anybody to get the love you need.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all want nurturing, we want guidance, and we want protection. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
three vital things that come
Mm-hmm.
along with being human. Those are the things that you
Mm-hmm.
want. And if you find that in this person, it might be just fine for a while
Mm-hmm.
until you realize that there's always a catch.
Mm-hmm.
You can only have this from me if you do this for me. And so that this is stroke my ego, do what I
Mm-hmm.
tell you to do what wear the clothes I want you to wear the hairdo I want you to wear the do everything, get the education that I want you to have. I
Mm-hmm.
had a woman got on a coaching call with me the other day, and she's highly educated. She's a Rhodes Scholar,
Mm-hmm.
and her husband went to all the finest schools. He has 3 degrees from 3 of the highest quality schools, and he was a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
And she did not realize that because she wasn't raised around a narcissist, but she fell into it because she was educated and she wanted somebody that was educated. She wanted somebody who could take her to nice places and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in that kind of an atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
you have the income to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when she realized that he was that way, it was like the last, I mean, here she is, a Rhodes Scholar, someone with high education,
Mm-hmm.
knew how to write a dissertation backwards, right? He knocked her across the kitchen floor at Thanksgiving. It was the last time it happened. Knocked her across the kitchen floor, and the only thing she could remember was, now I have to get up and go serve Thanksgiving dinner because that's what they expect. So she was taught from a very young age, do what's expected. It was expected that because she was very highly intelligent, that she should go and go to the best school.
Mm-hmm.
And her parents provided that for her. She went to the best schools. She met the right people. She was
Mm-hmm.
right up there in her occupation,
Mm-hmm.
and yet she was still in that position of being with a narcissist who
Mm-hmm.
was very much willing to hurt her. So yeah, they can hurt you, but not necessarily. They might just be someone who has that passive aggressive kind of
Mm-hmm.
narcissism. But there are violent narcissists.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So let me ask you another question, and this pertains to people who just can't make decisions. you ever been around somebody like that?
Yes, yeah.
Where do you want to go out to eat? I don't know. Where do you want?
Where do you want to go?
I mean, have you ever
That's
been? Are they living with a narcissist? Is that why they can't make a decision?
no, because what happens is we, as women especially, I'm going to use it because I am one. I know what I am, you know. But when we are raised to do for others.
Mm-hmm.
Our needs and our desires are put on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we're in relationship to people, that doesn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
That learning comes with us.
Mm-hmm.
And we react within that relationship the way we were taught to react. Mm-hmm. So if a person says, well, I don't know, where would you like to go? Partly it's I'm not capable of, and I'm afraid to make the wrong decision. Mm-hmm. So if I make the decision and you don't like where I've chosen, then you're not going to like me. Mm-hmm. And I want you to like me. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to let you choose. And then you go mm-hmm. back and forth with it. And it is about codependency mm-hmm. and not wanting to be the one who made the wrong decision, because then you're not going to be loved. Mm-hmm. We always equate all of this with mm-hmm. I want to be loved, I want to be nurtured, I want to, have protection. Mm-hmm. You don't have that if mm-hmm. somebody says, oh, that's a horrible decision. And then all of a sudden, everything that anybody ever said about how stupid you are or anything else comes into your psyche. And you say, oh my God, I'm a horrible person because I decided to go to Chowking instead of, mm-hmm. That's the way it is. We do that to ourselves. We remember, like I was saying earlier, we remember out of 1,000 people who love me, oftentimes will remember the one person who said I sucked. Mm-hmm. Can I say that? Okay, I just did.
It's there.
It's there. But but that's typical. We mm-hmm. are typically prone to, because let me go back to the fact that when we were Neanderthal, mm-hmm. our brain was programmed to keep us safe. Mm-hmm. We hid from animals. We got in caves and covered it up so that nobody could get to us. We were always in the survival mode. Oftentimes now, even as our bodies are now, we operate in the survivor mode. So in order for us to survive relationships, right, mm-hmm. we do what we have to do. Mm-hmm. And if what we have to do is what the other person wants to do, mm-hmm. then we'll do that. Mm-hmm. And so when we can get out of the survivor mode and get more into our heart and into our gut, listening to our bodies telling us what it wants, mm-hmm. then we might choose a different action. Mm-hmm. We might actually be proactive. We might say, well, I don't want to go out to eat. I've already made dinner. Mm-hmm. But there are times when people will say, I put all that food in the refrigerator because he wanted to go out to eat. Mm-hmm. Well, but if you had a meal made and you wanted to do that, what have you done? You've given up your desires, your mm-hmm. time, your energy mm-hmm. to do something someone else wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So that's part of codependency. Mm-hmm. So getting out of codependency isn't always easy. There's a lot to it.
We need to ask a question about things, and I've used this before. Okay, so I've had long hair on my entire life. So one day, I don't know, I just spur of the moment decided to get my hair cut, and it cut pretty short. And so I come in from the hair place, and so Phil didn't say anything, but I could tell by the look in his face that he liked it long. And my son did the same thing. It'll grow back, right, Mom? So I got that out of them. But my decision to have long hair, I want to please my husband, and he loves long hair, and he always has. But the reason I grew it long was not necessarily for him. My hair is like very thick, and so it stuck up like a crew cut. Well, I decided pretty soon I'm growing it back out again. Plus, he likes it long anyway. So, it's okay to make decisions and try to please somebody. I don't think you want to just like go behind, opposite of what that person would like. But you've also got to please yourself.
The pleasing yourself is the most important, because if it feels good to you internally that you're doing this because you like to do it, and oh, by the way, Phil loves it, mm-hmm. that's going to make it even better because you love Phil.
Well, I got tired of gluing my hair down. got tired of it. So
Well, but
it's
there
actually
are
more
a lot of
trouble.
other things that you might have made a decision on relating to how you react with Phil. I mean,
Uh-huh.
we all do that. We want to please other people,
Mm-hmm.
but we also have to keep in mind that we are number one. We
Mm-hmm.
have to live with us the rest of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And that other person might be gone in a year
Mm-hmm.
or tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to find out for ourselves, and oftentimes we don't even know
Mm-hmm.
what it is that we really want to do
Mm-hmm.
with our lives. We don't
Mm-hmm.
know who we are because we've been conditioned from childhood. They say within the first 18 months, you've been pretty well conditioned to what you're going to be the rest of your
Mm-hmm.
life, how you're going to react, unless you move into seeing the hope that there's possibility for change.
Mm-hmm.
So you get all of that in you, and by the time you're 5, you've gotten already your personality. By the time you're 25, you're
Mm-hmm.
doing whatever it is that you were conditioned to do back then.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're conditioned as women to do for others all the time,
Mm-hmm.
our needs get put on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
We don't, oh well, it's okay. I don't have to do that thing tonight. I can do with, for instance, I've been asked before to go do stuff, and when I was codependent, fortunately I moved out of that. Yay. You got a lot of that out of the way. But anyway, I was asked to go do something and I had no desire to go do it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even something that was of interest to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I said okay. But that night I had already planned to take a nice candlelight bath and fix a nice dinner for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, I went with that person and I totally got on myself about, why did you do this? Why did you do this? Why did you do this? Because
Mm-hmm.
I knew I didn't want to go, but I said
Mm-hmm.
yes anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness I'm not there anymore,
Mm-hmm.
which is really very helpful, especially when I talk to my clients about where they are with their codependency and how their needs are not getting met. I ask them to be clear about what their needs
Mm-hmm.
are. If they aren't clear, like I wasn't clear, I wanted somebody to love me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so if a person says, let's go do this, I did it
Mm-hmm.
because I thought, well, they're going to love me if I do that. Because if
Mm-hmm.
I say no, then they're not going to be happy about
Mm-hmm.
that. They'll find somebody else, and I want them to love me.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's all of that dynamics that's going on
Mm-hmm.
because we're programmed for that. And so I help people to understand that their needs are very
Mm-hmm.
important. They're the ones that they're going to live with the rest of
Mm-hmm.
their
Well,
lives.
the biggest one you've talked about before is when you take a flight and you're on an
Yep,
airplane and
yep.
the airline person will tell you to wear the mask, and if you have a small child, put yours on first. Well, the first time I heard that, Brad was little, and I thought, I'm being selfish. I'm putting the mask on myself. Yep, the way I was raised.
Well, yeah,
And then
yeah.
it was explained. I mean, if you don't have the mask on, you're not going to be able to save your child's
That's
life
right. Because once you get yours on, another mask drops down and you can put it on the
very
child.
quickly
But if
after.
you've already died, they're not going to be able to get that mask. They're not going to be able to reach it. Nobody's going to think to
Uh-huh.
help them out. So the point is that you help yourself first in order for you to have a healthy mindset about who
Mm-hmm.
you are and what you want out of life. You have to recognize that there are certain things that you have to do for yourself. Now, for me, what I've learned is that self-care,
Mm-hmm.
continuous self-care,
Mm-hmm.
leads to self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes we don't love ourselves because
Mm-hmm.
we've been conditioned to think that we're crazy or that we're stupid or that we're
Mm-hmm.
ugly or fat or skinny or whatever the things are that we've been conditioned to
Mm-hmm.
see about ourselves. We have to understand that those are from the past. Those are things
Mm-hmm.
people have put on us because
Mm-hmm.
we weren't born with those feelings.
People put labels on us.
People definitely put labels on us,
Mm-hmm.
and we then accept them.
Mm-hmm.
We see, and then all of that comes with a lot of judgment, and so what we're
Mm-hmm.
continually doing is judging ourselves harshly.
Mm-hmm.
We are our own worst critics, and I
I
love.
had a boss who told me that once. He said, I don't have to kick your rear end. You do it all by yourself.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And we do that. And then for
Mm-hmm.
me, what I've learned is give that critic a name.
Mm-hmm.
Give that critic a name because it takes away from the
I like that.
seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're always so serious. We think about how all the negativity comes to us and we accept it. But if somebody positive comes positive at us, we like,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, I can't do that. So I decided to lighten it up.
Mm-hmm.
And because my critic is
Mm-hmm.
called Farquaad, when I was coming up.
I just like the name.
I do. Well, the Shrek movies were some of my favorite
Yeah.
movies, and one of them is where this prince is wanting to marry a princess, and he's really into himself. He's like all over it, and I'm the prince, and I got and he's this short little guy with a crazy looking hat and a big ass, big bottom, and he's like, I deserve the best princess, and she's coming to get me, and she's beautiful. And so I decided that I would name mine Farquaad because there's that characteristic that says, I have the right answer for you, and this is how you should do your life, and this is who you should be, and this is how you should look, and Farquaad. So I decided that if I wanted to be aware and learn about my critic, I would say, Farquaad, just go sit in the back seat. If I give you the example of driving a car, I'm in charge. So I sit in the front seat. I sit behind the driver's wheel in the front seat. I can either put Farquaad over to the side of me, or I can put him in the back seat, or I could even put him in the trunk of the car. If he's still misbehaving, I will put him out at the side of the road and drive on because my inner critic has been so rampant in the past, especially as a codependent, because you feel so much horrible about yourself. It's like when 1,000 people say how wonderful you are, and all you remember is the one person that said no. So when we do that to ourselves, we're actually putting ourselves lower and lower and lower on the totem pole, and everybody else is up here. They get all of your energy first, and you get what's left. And most of the time, that's not enough.
There's nothing left.
There's not enough.
Absolutely. Now, I know you've talked about resilience. I'd like to talk to you about patience because we've got about 3 minutes left in this. Time flies. Almost half the show's over. But about patience, where does patience fit in with all of this?
Well, patience is about, that inner critic that says, you're this, you're that, okay? If you're patient with yourself, you can move yourself away from feeling that way. But if it comes back, if there's a little nudge that says, "Oh, you did that wrong," say, "No, give yourself some grace." I say, Dejoly, just give yourself some grace. It's okay. Yes, that's what you thought. Now you can go. Farquaad can go sit in the side seat, or if I'm riding a motorcycle, he's on the outside edge. But patience with ourselves to grow, because think of it in terms of a baby. A baby doesn't just get up and start walking. A baby will crawl, will fall down, will kind of get up a little bit and fall back down on their butt, and then they take baby steps to walking. They don't expect to run a sprint from being able to sit up. They actually go through the steps of walking. That's what we have to do with ourselves. We have to be patient with ourselves, give ourselves grace for doing something that we didn't want to really do when we did it anyway, and then you can go back and say, well, that was a moment.
I've had some of those.
I've had those moments. That's what patience is all about. But you have to be strong to have patience, because oftentimes...
Is that a learning curve?
It's very much a learning curve. We're not... We can... it's really interesting how we can be more patient with other people than we are with ourselves. We give them all kinds of grace. We give them second, third, fourth, fifth chances to hurt us. But we are so hard on ourselves. And so that's why I put some levity, some humor into the critic part, because the critic was there from the very beginning to keep us safe in our brain, our survival brain. But as we move into more of a loving ourselves brain, we can let go of some of that, and there's humor in letting go.
Yeah, there's humor there. I've had lots of humor in my life before. But now this could be, because a number of you have sent messages too about it, but somebody you work with, and I know one, and I'm not mentioning names. A lot of you have asked me not to, and I don't remember which one said could and said couldn't, but so I'll just not use names, period. So one was about a lady that she works with, and she felt like there was some workplace jealousy there. and she received a promotion. This other person didn't receive the promotion. I kind of had that happen to me a long time ago, back in the day, my first management job. So I actually got the job over people who had been with the company a long time. And then my boss actually mentioned that. She said, there's going to be jealousy. I'm just telling you. There'll be jealousy because she said they don't have, and she was mainly looking for personality traits instead of so much of the work experience. Boy, was she right. There was a lot of jealousy there. Absolutely. Let's go into a commercial break, and we're going to be right back in just a few minutes. Can you believe half the show? Zoom. We'll be right back, guys. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors, and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462. Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
My Towels solved the problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores and they feel lotiony and soft, but then you get them home and they wind dry you. That's why I made my towels. They actually work, they're soft, and they absorb. And now I'm excited to announce 2 brand new lines of my towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Shapir cotton. This is a combed ring spun cotton that makes my towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sale price as low as $29.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get my towels for only $29.98. Or you can get my designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% now on all my towels. They actually work. What a concept. This offer won't last long, so please order now.
mypillow.com.
We're back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's always a fun one. And thank you so much for the emails. Definitely appreciate it. You can send an email anytime you want. I treasure them. I promise you I do. Now, sometimes they go into spam. So sometimes I have to go dig it out of the spam. I don't just empty the spam box. Just want to let everybody know that. So I will pull them out. I promise I do. And I hope I'm getting to every single question that you guys had. And so I'm glad to have Dejoly with us right now. She is what I consider an expert in this area. If you would like to be coached, how can folks get in contact with you?
They can go to my site, dejoly.com, DEJOLY.com, and all of my services are on there. And they can also touch base with me on Facebook. They can touch base with me on Messenger or Instagram. And just let me know that they're interested in talking, or they have an issue that they would like to discuss with me. Whatever it is, I'm always open to having more communication between people.
Let me ask you a question. Are there more, and this is one of the several of you have asked this one question right here. Okay, so are there more narcissists in the world now, or are we just more aware?
I think we're more aware of it because more people are wanting to get back to their original self. They want to have their needs met, just like, I mean, I think, yes, maybe there are the same amount, but they're more prominent now because people are seeing the difference between someone who's a loving, caring, gentle, wonderful person as opposed to somebody who is doing it for their own benefit. Like if I do something for you, I don't expect you to behave the way I want you to behave in order to get my approval, which is what a narcissist does. A narcissist will say, I will give you this, which is praise, admiration, love, whatever. If there's always an if, and it's not always spoken. It's an expectation. So the expectation is that if I do that for you, you're going to do this. And oftentimes it has to do with meeting their desires to have you look the way they want you to look, do the things they want you to do, bring home the bacon, so to speak, or whatever. As long as it fills their need, a narcissist is only about themselves. If it fills their need, then they don't care what you feel about it.
I have friends, women friends, who have just starved themselves almost to death because the guy they were married to wanted them to be skinny. I mean, and one of my friends was so skinny that you could, under her clothes, you could see her ribs, and she thought she was fat. And I would say, you're not fat, you're very tiny. You know, I'm afraid you're going to die.
Oftentimes, and most of the time, the narcissist doesn't care that that's happening. Most of the time, because they really want you to do whatever it is they want. And because we get so sucked into it, because as codependents, we get so sucked into doing for someone else that we don't realize until it's too late that we've done too much for someone else. We've done way over what we should have done because we ignored our own body needs, our own mental needs, our own heart needs. We don't take care of ourselves because we're always doing for somebody else. Now, typically, as women, we're geared toward that. We're trained to be that. But as we find narcissists who, it's kind of like we have a label on us. I'm codependent, so you can take advantage of me at any time. And so we have that capability of doing for someone else, and we forget about ourselves. And the narcissist only wants you to do for them.
The narcissist, can they just kind of tell by the way you walk whether you're somebody that's codependent? I know a good friend of mine, his name is Rick Staines, and Rick has been on the show since the show started back in 2005, and he's a security specialist. So he was talking one time about, being safe when you're out at the mall, whenever. He said a lot of times the way you carry yourself, if you walk upright, you walk with some confidence, you're not going to get attacked. More so like the person who's walking down, the whole world is on their shoulder.
That is so very true.
Okay.
It's very true, because they will, it's kind of like a perpetrator, a sexual perpetrator, can see by the way you're looking, by the way you're carrying yourself, that there's a possibility, not that you can be, but there's a possibility that you can be taken advantage of. And often I hate the idea of saying, well, it's because of the clothes you wore, or it's because of this or that they attacked you, because really it's on them. They attacked you. You didn't invite them to attack you. So just putting that out there. It is has very little to do with you. I think I lost my thought there.
Popular sometimes.
Okay. So
actually, it looked like it was one of those calls. I'll be 65 next month. I keep getting those phone calls from people who are saying, I wanted to know if I paid. There's my cat walking across. Let me get him out of the way. And sometimes it's about, we'll pay for your college. And so I like to take those calls, because I will say, something, I'm about to be 65. If I've not paid for it by now, I will never pay for my college debt. Okay, so please let it go. I think that was one of those calls. But getting back to, is there a balance though? Because I want to please my husband. I love him, so I think he would love me if I had no hair. I really do. I think he would love me if I was severely overweight. I just think he would. But there's got to be something inside me too. I want to please him. I want to please myself, but is there a balance there?
Yes, there's absolutely a balance.
If it comes to health-wise?
Definitely. There is definitely a balance there. We have to really decide. But I think it has to do with clarity, because oftentimes we just go through life and let life happen. And we all also go by, well, what's expected of us? What's expected of you as a woman? What's expected of you as an educated woman? What's expected of you, mothers, grandmothers, all of that. We do the thing, right? Whatever it is. And so there is a balance between what we're expected to do and what we want to do ourselves. What is it that we are wanting for ourselves? So there's a balance between finding out and being clear about who we are and what we want out of life, and then going about doing it. And if you go about doing it and it pleases someone else, that's gravy. That's awesome. But that doesn't mean that has to be the focus of why you do something. If you're doing it because you want to do it, doesn't matter what it is. It could be what's, quote, expected of you. But if you're doing it because you want to do it, then that makes all the difference. You don't have to put yourself down for doing something that was expected of you because you wanted to do it. If that aligns with your values, if it aligns with your personality, and if it aligns with your desire for attention and love, if it aligns with all those things that come with who you are as your essence, not about what you were conditioned to be, but if it comes down to who you really are, then yes, it makes a big difference. I can do that. I like to do that. Okay. But that's not because they expect it of you. It's because you want to do it.
And I wanted to ask you another question. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, and this is from someone who says she used to be a news junkie. Okay, and she said, and she's been watching the shows about, different topics about, letting make your own mind up about things. And I like to do research myself. I don't just watch any set of news. I just like to do some research, find out what's really going on in the world. So she sort of said that she feels like, I'm kind of paraphrasing. So she said she feels as if watching the news is allowing all of this mess to get into your head. Is that a form of narcissism, even though it's a news organization? But people are running the news organizations, right?
Well, the news organizations have a goal to convince you that they're right and that you
And
should.
bad news sells.
Oh, bad news, bad sex, bad anything, bad sells. So, yeah, I would say that as a conglomerate, yes, they are narcissistic because their goal is to suck you in and get your money, your energy, your time, everything that they want. They want to get that. But I would say that we are discerning individuals who are, in our case, most of the people that are watching your show are adults, and they can make decisions. And if they want to sit in front of the TV, or if they want to listen to national news all the time, that's up to them. But there's a choice. As adults, we have choice.
I'm in the business and I can't do it. I mean, I've got to have some time.
I mean, there was a period, and not that long ago, and it had to do related to COVID. There was a period in which I was really in depth looking at different news sources in order for me to find what I called truth. And finally, I got to the place where I said, I'm always feeling negative. I'm always feeling suspicious and all of that. And I didn't like that feeling. So I allowed myself to let go of that. I allowed myself to pivot. I call it pivot because you can always pivot. You can always change your mind, And so for me, it was like, poof, I'm done. And so now I live in a very beautiful, peaceful, loving kind of world for myself. I've developed that out of choice because my choice is not to be in turmoil all the time. My choice is to have peace.
Yeah, I don't like that life.
Yeah.
I've lost friends because of it.
Well, I know. I did too.
And I mean, I hate that. People I thought were my friends apparently weren't. They wanted me dead because I believed a particular way. But anyway, that's not healthy either. Where I'll put it to you this way: I'm an Auburn fan. My husband is an Alabama fan. If we can make this marriage work, you can make any marriage work.
That's only in Alabama.
Because I'm just going to tell you, people in Alabama know we're serious about football.
That's right.
So, but I'm not as serious about that as I used to be. It used to be, I would not be able to sleep if Auburn lost a game. That was ridiculous.
Oh, my goodness.
And feels the same way. Well, we've grown up somewhat in our 31 years of marriage, and we've decided it's not that important. Now, do we have fun? Yeah. I like to watch Alabama-Auburn games. We rib each other and stuff like that. But it's not like serious life or death kind of stuff anymore. I just think sometimes we're too serious about stuff. Let's go ahead and I'm interested in what you've got to say about courage.
It takes courage to make change. Changes are typically met with fear. And if it's not fear, if it's not, quote, labeled as fear, it could be jealousy, it could be anger, it could be sadness, it could be rejection, it could be a number of things, but underlying that is the fear of loss of the stable thing that you had. So courage to me is like, if you're being courageous in making the changes to yourself in order to have a more joyful life, have a more peaceful and loving life, then it takes courage to stand up and say, this is what I want, because everybody is working out there to not give you what you want. So if that's what you want, then you have to have the courage to stand in that and see yourself as a whole, complete person in yourself, that you don't need someone else to make you complete. Like you don't need Phil to make you complete. You both are complete people. But there are some relationships that have to do with, now I've got my other half. Well, my other half sounds really kind of weird to me, because that means you weren't whole, and you weren't whole without that person. But in reality, you are whole. You just haven't recognized that you are whole. So yeah, it takes courage to stand up and say, this is what I want, and these are my boundaries, and this is what I'm looking for in a relationship, and this is what I need from life. And so when you get that, you have the courage to stand up and say that, then you can go forward. It makes a lot of big difference. You have to work up that courage. You know,
Well, it's that freedom too.
it's freedom.
It really is. I don't want to do something because I feel like I got to. I love to cook. And one of the big things I love to do is I like to bake a biscuit for every morning for Phil. He loves his biscuits. So to make it easier on myself, I have found a way I can make the biscuits all up at one time, separate them, put them on a cookie sheet, let them freeze, put them in the freezer. All I have to do, and it pleases him and it's easier on me, I take a biscuit out every night. I put it in the refrigerator so it can thaw out. He's got his biscuit every morning.
There you go. There you
So
go.
don't make yourself a slave to it at all. And a lot of my friends have said, you got to quit doing that. It's making us look bad. You know, our husbands are wanting a biscuit every morning too.
Well, and that's what happens when you
can.
start standing up for yourself and you start doing the things that please you. Oftentimes, people can't handle that because they can't do it for themselves.
They think they've got to do
They
it.
think that because we do that comparison thing. I remember when I was, telling people about the recovery process that I went through, they were saying, "Oh, you've got it heads over. You've got so much. Why should I even try?" Because they were comparing their life, their traumas that they went through to mine, and they were minuscules in their mind. But for me, trauma is trauma. And it doesn't matter if it's, you were traumatized because you fell off your bike when you were 7 years old and everybody told you weren't hurt, get back on that bike. And in fact, you were hurt. You hurt yourself falling off that bike. But they wanted to deny your reality. Well, you take that into yourself and say, my opinion doesn't matter because I thought I hurt myself, but they said I didn't hurt myself, so they must know better. I'll tell you what happens between the time you're born and the time you're 18 months. Facts, these are facts, is that we establish our relationship with ourselves and with others in that 18 months. And so if we make the abusers wrong and us right, then we're not safe. Because they're the ones that are supposed to be helping us and taking care of us, protecting us, nurturing us. So they have to be the right, and we take it on as we're wrong. So as we develop through our lives, we take on the I'm wrong part of it and let everybody else be right because we're in survival mode. If we get to a place where we're not in survival mode anymore, we can discern whether that was my fault or their fault, and whether they were right or I was wrong. Those kinds of things. You have to give ourselves permission to make mistakes, pivot, give ourselves patience and grace about, and then there's that part that I like to talk about, which is tenacity. You have to have tenacity. You have to be able to keep going, be resilient, and keep going through whatever it is that you're going through, because there will be people who will put you down for being happy. Oh, yeah.
What's she done? What's she up to?
Yeah. What has she been smoking?
Oh, yeah. I actually have had people ask me that. Are you on weed or something?
Yeah.
And I would say, why? And they said, because all that energy you've got to be on something.
Yeah, no.
No, it's a natural thing.
There are people who are very critical of others when they're happy because they aren't happy. So they project their negativity onto us. And you shouldn't be happy. Well, that means I shouldn't be happy. If I say that about somebody else, that's what I'm telling myself. You shouldn't be happy. You're too much. Other people won't like you if you're too much. And you got to have somebody like you, right? So there's all that. It's kind of like a hamster wheel of feelings and reactions.
It happens with siblings because they want you to be unhappy as they are, so that everything they could possibly do. But I want my siblings to be. I want them to be successful. I don't want my siblings to have to worry about paying bills, or none of my friends. I want everybody to be successful. So I'm like a cheerleader for people. I want your business to be successful. I want you to sell 1 million books. I mean,
thank you,
and more, because I like seeing people be successful. Because I kind of learned from that. So your success helps me to be a successful person.
Yeah.
Like keeping, writing down your emotions
Yeah,
helps. It
yeah,
really
it does.
does.
Journaling does help. I'll tell you what.
Hmm.
In my coaching, I help people understand the importance of writing your story down. Whatever the rant is for the day, by the time you get to the end of it,
Hmm.
you've kind of like let it all out, and it's okay. Now I'm back to
Oh, I can breathe now.
now I can breathe.
Hmm.
And oftentimes you say to your, oh wow, whew, and that's a big breath and a big exhale, right?
Is that also part of worrying? Because I just have to tell you, I used to be a worry wart. I mean, I would worry about everything. And then I started thinking about it. One of my friends told me that it was Philip Gillen, and he's with the cowboy churches. And Philip said, "You really realize that 99.9% of the things you worry about never happen." He said, "I want you to think about this." And he's not even a psychiatrist or anything like that. He's a minister, but he's had a lot of experience dealing with people. And he said, "So just think about some things you've worried about. Did it happen?"
Well, that you know what that is. That's living outside of the present moment.
Hmm.
What we do is we bring the past into the present, and that projects into the future, and that's worry.
Hmm.
So what we do is if you can, pull it back into the present moment. Am I being attacked? Am I in danger? What's going on? Why are you feeling that way? If you do some self-examination
Hmm.
during those times when you are worrying,
Hmm.
what are you worrying about? And
Hmm.
if you can actually put down facts, write down the facts of what's happening, you've wasted a lot of energy
Hmm.
worrying about something
Oh,
that's
that
never going to happen.
zaps your energy. That it
Oh,
zaps you.
totally.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And so if you can write it down, I encourage people to write. I'm a writing
Hmm.
and life coach, so I do that. I combine them so that
Hmm.
my clients often get time to journal. I give them plenty of opportunity to journal, but that's about really examining who you are and
Hmm.
what really fits you, what belongs to you and what doesn't. Like a lot of people will tell you this and that and this and that, and really that's about them. It's
Uh-huh.
not about you.
Uh-huh.
It's about what they see themselves as or what they want to project onto you.
Mhm.
So if you're confident, if you grow in that confidence, if you have the resilience and the courage and the movement toward the person that you originally were and find your inner voice. My thing
Mhm.
is about finding your inner voice and writing your
Mhm.
story because our stories matter. There are people that come up from behind us, especially women, who need to know that they can make it
Mhm.
because there's hard times. We've experienced hard times in our lifetime.
Mhm.
And so they're going to meet challenges that if they don't have the guidance and the caring and the protection from family, they need to know from somebody
Mhm.
that they made it and that they can make it too. And so I encourage women to write their stories.
I do too. And you just brought something else up too. And this is a lot of you are talking about having gardens now.
Mhm.
And there are folks who are having gardens, and I am so proud of you. They didn't think they could, and they're doing it, and they're amazed because they planted a seed. But some of you live in the city, and you're having gardens because you found that you can have raised gardens. You found that if you live in a condo, you can have gardens that go up. I mean, kind of like a pedestal. You
Mhm.
can have a garden out of a paper bag.
Well, and also I have to relate that back to our growth and that you plant a seed and look
Mhm.
where it gets you. You get a beautiful plant, even some food.
Mhm.
So when you are beginning your journey
Mhm.
of discovering yourself and what it is you really
Mhm.
want out of life,
Mhm.
you're planting a seed
Mhm.
inside yourself of saying, wonder where that will grow to. And there might be times when you need to clip off a little branch, like on a tomato plant, where you want to take
Get
off
that sucker out.
those suckers. You want to get those out. Well, that's the same thing with your
Uh-huh.
personal growth.
Uh-huh.
When you're going through the process with me or any other coach, they're going to want you to take those baby steps and see the growth. Go
Mhm.
back and appreciate and celebrate the little steps. Because when we're growing up, when we first start,
Mhm.
oh, I'm going to learn to walk. You don't just get up off the floor and start running.
That
You
ain't
get
gonna
up off
happen.
the floor and you plop yourself back down
Mhm.
because you don't know how to hold your
True.
feet up, right? So that's what we do in coaching is that you take baby steps toward that goal
Mhm.
of having your own self back to yourself.
Mhm. Absolutely. A little bit under a minute and a half left. What do you want to tell everybody before we leave?
I want to tell you that you matter, that you and your stories matter, that you are worth taking the time to find out who you are and what you want out of life and be very clear. And if that means that you have to change some things in life, be courageous and do those things. And be persistent, be resilient, and have courage to move forward.
Absolutely. And I am so proud of you for taking that step. I think you're awesome. And you're right. Starting a garden is the best way to do it. I mean, because you can see what happens from that little seed that looks so helpless. And you're looking at that seed like, how can that grow into a big tomato plant? It can, and you can too. So thank you so much, Dejoly. Thank you for your guidance for me. You've rescued me, I'm telling you. You certainly have. I didn't know where to go a few years ago until I met her. But thank you so much for watching. You're definitely worth it. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch.
How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. Regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.